It's showtime.
Good morning, Vietnam! Welcome to the party, pal!
See you at the party, Richter!
I didn't kill my wife! I don't care!
Get away from her, you bitch!
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
You did not going to say that, did you? What I do have are a very particular set of skills.
The dude abides.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Inconceivable!
Little Dallas multipass.
This is a tasty burger.
Please.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
I'm the bad guy?
And Hulk, smash.
I can speak with an English accent.
Hit the hash pipe and join the National Guard. I could be elected president.
You went over my helmet?
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
I know, right?
The list is in the open!
Hey, where are the white women at?
They're digging in the wrong place.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Are you not entertained?
Second start of the ride. And straight on till morning.
Meow.
You son of a bitch.
21 gigawatts!
Wax on, wax off.
Oh my goodness, I am sporting a tremendous Woody right now.
Bartender is the aristocrat of the working class.
You want to flip 6-3 whole play and you could score.
Cover me.
Dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. On this team, we fight for that itch.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
No ticket.
No ticket.
I get older, they stay the same age.
It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude. He's 15.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Hope is a good thing, maybe the best of things, and no good thing ever dies.
Good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I'm your host, Meffistoe, and always with me, my hetero life mate, Oh My Feelings. How are you, sir?
I'll be back.
We're back. What is the Reel McCoy? You might ask the Reel McCoy.
I'll be back.
Yeah, we get it. Wait, I can do it in a satanic voice.
I'll be back.
Anyway, what is the Reel McCoy? You might ask. The Reel McCoy is your weekly movie podcast where we ask you to go watch a movie, you watch it, come back to us, and we break it down for you. This month, the month of May, very special month, because we kind of celebrate 4 years at the end of the month of podcasts, and also our 200th episode. So we kind of thought let's do something special, and we dubbed this particular month Cyber Month. So everything that has to do with cybernetics, robots, AI, all that stuff, very current, very in the zeitgeist.
In the zeitgeist, yes.
Will be this particular month, and we start with kind of the zeitgeistiest of all zeitgeist, the AI Skynet, in the movie The Terminator. 1984, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest year in movie history, produced us 2 Schwarzenegger films, which kind of tied in together. We'll touch upon that in a few minutes.
Hey, but also the protagonist has the best name ever in the year of my birth. His name is Kyle, and it's 1984. Let's go.
Let's go. All right, cool. To help us out with the show, Mr. Price of Reason. How are you, sir?
Good. How's it going?
I'm good. Actually, it kind of fits well because last time you were here,
last time we talked about another film that's kind of in the same concept. And we were actually going to put The Matrix in, but we had already talked about it. So.
Yeah, which was The Matrix. So it fit really well. So before we start, I want to say hello to the audience, and I'll talk about, I want to touch upon stuff with you, Price. Just a little second. Hello and good evening to Kaladin, DK, Royce, and Juliet, and all the other lurkers in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Price, my first question to you, because you're our special guest, and you specifically asked to join us. You were so specifically, even though you're people will kind of recognize you don't have your usual mic because you're on the road or whatever you are. And,
I hope it's not. I mean, is it such
good.
a difference? Could you still tell it's me, or is it like a different person now?
We can tell it's you.
We can still tell.
Different mic. And yes, hello, Jillian. I see you. All right, Price. When have you seen the Terminator first time and your first impressions?
Well, the thing is that I think I was a kid, so this isn't something that somebody took me to the theater to watch. And I had a friend who, I don't know why, I guess I was hanging out with him, and he had a video cassette of this movie, and he said, "Man, you got to see this video." Even though we were kids, he's like, "You got to see this." And I did. I went in knowing nothing. I knew absolutely nothing about it. He's like, "This is such a great movie," and I was young when I saw it, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. You know, today you have kids, and you don't know what you can show them at what age, and what they're allowed to watch, and what they're not allowed to watch. I feel like back in the day when we were young, uh, a lot less questions were asked. If somebody obtained a video cassette, whatever was on that video cassette, was fair play.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? It
I
could have
agree.
had people dying. It could have had a bunch of sex. Like nothing mattered. If the kid had the video cassette, we would all sit and watch it, no matter what that something was.
Absolutely true. Having sat around with my almost 11-year-old watching Predator and RoboCop and a bunch of other movies that today is like, oh, you can't watch them. No. He gets it. By the way, at this very moment, he is right behind this wall watching The Last Action Hero. Oddly enough, not with me, but you know, it is what it is. All right, cool. And he's also enjoying the fact that tomorrow there's a school strike or a teacher strike, so he is can stay up. So it's all good. Kind of fun I was having that. You know, at a Saturday night where you don't have to go to school Sunday morning.
So for us in the States wise, that's like our snow day is
snow day.
Exactly. Like, yeah. And oddly enough, Meth, I know you didn't ask this question, but the last time I watched this film, not a lie, was when I was 11 years old, and it was because there was a snow day and this film was on TBS. That's the last time I saw the original Terminator.
Nice. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I should have gone to you next. Sorry.
No, you're fine. But the first time I did see it, though, it was my stepdad. He said, "Hey, we're gonna see Terminator 2: Judgment Day at the outdoor theater." That's a big thing. In it. Like outdoor, they're really not so big anymore. They used to be a big thing.
Yeah.
Cultural kind of phenomenon, but I said we were going to go see it, but you need to see the movie first. I was 7.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. I've seen the Terminator when I was 8 years old, and it was a video cassette, and it was a room full of adults. And I was the only one enjoying that movie for some reason. I don't know why.
Come on. It's so good.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, cool.
As a kid, I just want to say that the movie had everything I wanted in a movie, and I probably was also.
Yeah.
I could have been 7 years old, 8 years old. I was young. I wasn't like a million years old. You know, I 8, 9, 10 tops. It wasn't like I was like 30.
Yeah.
I was a kid. I just can't remember exactly what the circumstance, but I remember the friend and I remember the situation. And I don't know what you were like when you were kids, but if there was some, you know, naked lady, if there was some guy with guns blowing things up, some action, some sci-fi robots, it had everything, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the movie for me. As in, for me, for you, for everybody. All right, cool.
It actually helped a lot, too, that my stepdad introduced me to the Predator first. So I saw the Predator before I saw Terminator.
Interesting.
And I was like, well, Arnold's okay. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Let's start where we always start the show with a little segment we like to call Behind the Screens.
Sound production, take 2.
And today, something a little bit special. We'll get to it in a moment. All right. So, James Cameron started his sort of foray into the film industry in the Roger Corman School for Film. Later on, he worked in his production company that did various films. One of those films, the person he met in the Roger Corman School was a woman called Gail Hurd, which later on became the producer on the Terminator and also James Cameron's wife, because he tends to marry whoever he works with and then quietly discards them. The set where they met was actually Battle Beyond the Stars, where James Cameron did a lot of modeling for, and he ended up in a way becoming the art director for Piranha 2, or I think the actual director at one point, until the director fired. But he was almost fired because he kept butting heads with the main producer of that movie, Piranha 2, because of, we'll call it artistic licenses and all that stuff, because Cameron always wanted to push the art first and, the hell with the money, which caused him a lot of issues, at least at the start of his career. But in Piranha 2, he actually met Lance Henriksen, which will come up in a little bit. Because he had a lot of stress during the production of Piranha 2, and one of the sort of like when it came to a head and he almost got fired, he had what he described was a fever dream or a nightmare where he was chased by a robot which had an endoskeleton, but it wasn't a full robot. It was half, and it was chasing him like a slasher in the, let's call it the second wave, as in we destroyed him. Oh, but wait, he comes back and he chases us.
So like Voorhees or Myers, yeah.
The last vestiges of a slasher movie, essentially.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got you. Well, that's always like, hey, even watching this again, wow, he's dead. He's not dead. Come on, girl.
He was also, when he came to write the script, it came out really quickly in terms of he actually wrote a 40-page treatment, which was quite big at the time. And he made his protagonist modeled after Ripley from Alien, which is, in effect,
what a coincidence.
Comes into play a little bit later. So he submitted his treatment, and I think Orion Pictures picked up the script, even though they were like, is this a sci-fi movie? What is this movie? And essentially it was sold not as a sci-fi movie, but more like a revenge chase B movie, action B movie kind of a thing. They call it action exploit, as in blaxploit type of movie, low budget, just, cars, shooting, guns, and all that stuff. The word sci-fi again comes up a little bit later. Now, in his vision for the story, not only did he wrote a treatment for it, he also drew a lot of his inspirations, essentially storyboard shots and all that stuff, onto the page. Because when he got to submit everything, he had a lot of shots already presented and ready to actually sell the movie. All right. Now we get to see this.
Before we get to that, just let me say real quick, Jillian, thank you so much for the gifted 5 subs.
Yeah, I was waiting for a respite to thank Jillian for the 5 gifted sub. Thank you, Jillian. Appreciate that. We'll press this as we keep talking about the movie. Hope this doesn't ruin it. There we go. You'll notice some things on the screen too. Okay. So when it comes to casting, because Cameron worked with Henriksen, he wanted him to be the Terminator, and he envisioned him not as an unstoppable monster, but more like a chameleon. You get there, Price?
Yeah.
We've got some wind going.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So he envisioned him as sort of a chameleon, something that can sort of infiltrate within the humans. And you can see this. This is the picture before the Arnold one where you see his vision for Lars Henriksen, or Lance Henriksen, I should say. And Henriksen actually went in to the studio where they were going to approve him as the actor. And he came in with metal teeth, with a long coat, and kind of looking like he's hiding a weapon. And he did not talk to anybody. And everybody there at the reception, the secretary, everybody there were very afraid of him. As soon as sort of Cameron stepped out to call him, they were like, oh, okay, he's an actor. He came to, to do the audition. But they also sent the script to Arnold Schwarzenegger, and they wanted Arnold to play the hero role. They wanted him to play Kyle Reese. He read the script and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, he'll come back. He'll come back." Yeah, he said so in the private chat. Don't worry.
No, but can you imagine though? Like, I know that Lance Henriksen could have done a great job, but Arnold Schwarzenegger, with how stilted he was as an actor, especially at that time, was perfect for the role. He was already robotic in his acting to begin with.
We're just about to get to that.
I know. I just go
ahead. Anyway, Arnold, when he read the script, he actually wanted to play the Terminator. He wanted to play the Terminator. He thought the Terminator was a much more of a different role from what he's used to. But his friends are like, his agent was like, you are a hero type. You never play the bad guy. It will ruin your career. And James Cameron, because the studio was kind of set on having Arnold to sell the movie. And he's like, I don't really want Arnold as the Reese character at all. I don't think he fits. And by that point, he saw his performances. He was like, he is a much better type of Terminator I'm looking for.
Yep.
And together with Gail Hurd, his producer, is like, yeah, I think Arnold will do much better as the Terminator. So when James went to talk,
just as an aside, I hope that Arnold fired whoever gave him that advice. Like,
it's
don't
friends.
take the role, because like, yeah. By the way, T2, huge numbers.
Yeah. So the thing about it is, I think this was it. The studio or somebody was like, yeah, Lance is not going to sell our movie. But if you really want him as the Terminator, you have to pick up Arnold. So James set up a meeting with Arnold, and he's like, I'm going to treat Arnold like garbage to create this argument. And because of the argument, I'm going to use the argument and him being, obtuse to go to the studio and say, I cannot work with him, and get us somebody else to do the Reese job. But when he got to the meeting, Arnold was like, you have to let me play the Terminator. I have to play the Terminator. So they clicked immediately on the fact that Arnold really wants to play the Terminator and will fit the Terminator role much better. As Cameron stepped out of the meeting, he was like, whew, not only do I have a new Terminator, I also have Arnold to sell the movie, which will please the studio executives.
Yeah.
And also, I can cut away a lot of his dialogue and make him look menacing without him opening his goddamn mouth.
Yeah.
Arnold agreed. And again, his agent at the time, Lou something, was like, Arnold, Booby, there's 6 lines here. Why do you want to make this movie? The thing about it is, Arnold, when he saw the script, when he read the script, he realized how good the script really is. And if the movie would have just given a little bit of a push, it will do gangbusters. He really believed in this movie. Mm-hmm. Now, not only that, there's another person who really believed in this movie, something that really saved the entire production time after time. The studio used not a bail bondsman, but an investment bondsman. I don't know what it's called, but the guy who runs that shop is essentially a loan shark, but not really a seedy one.
So like Shorty a little bit?
Not sort of like the Get Shorty role, but they had a much bigger office, much more real. It's a bank outside of the banking system, essentially.
Yeah, and they commit extortion, but not to a degree where it's punishable by federal law.
Exactly. But they do flip up the money and have bonds on it and all that stuff. I've heard about it way too much in the past day that I really care to explain. It's just the way movies are made sometimes, not every time, especially with small studios like Orion. And I think it got swallowed up. And never mind. Anyway, he really believed in the script, and when he saw dailies, and then he saw the movie before it had like a score, he's like, "This is amazing. I am not sorry whatsoever. I backed you." And every single time they had any financial issues, he's the one who's like, "Don't worry, just go and do your stuff, and you'll be clear." Okay. And by the way, when Lance left and before Arnold came aboard, O.J. Simpson was up for the role of Terminator.
Oh, no.
And Mel Gibson was up for the role of the Terminator, but he turned it down because he thought it would not be believable. Yes.
That's, for Mel, that I can believe that. And good call on Mel's behalf, too. Yeah.
Michael Biehn came on board. He went to, when he was called for the audition, he came off of a 2-hour audition for Cat on a Haunted Roof. And he still had the southern drawl to him when he did the audition. So they said, "Look, man, we like you. You kind of fit with what we were going for, but you're too southern. We can't have you. We need somebody who's like middle America." And he said, "Dude, I'm from Nebraska. I just did a big audition. I was in character for 2 hours. It didn't leave.
Carried over. Yeah.
So he got the job. Same goes with Linda Hamilton, who got the call from James Cameron that she got accepted after she auditioned. And she was on her way to a date when she heard James Cameron's voice on the phone. And he's like, "Could you please come back for a second audition? We pretty much have you hired." She canceled off the date. And then essentially got married to James Cameron.
Yeah. It's like, wow, what a setup and payoff. Lose a date to gain a date.
Okay. And
there's little Bubba.
Yeah. He goes to bed. They're gonna finish up the movie tomorrow. All right. Where are we? I hope
it's
Bryce
like
will
10
come
o'clock
back.
there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, there's a snow day tomorrow. We're all good. Okay. So for the VFX, there were two things they wanted to do, two different avenues. One is through the makeup. They went to a guy called Dick Smith, who was a big makeup artist, or it was at the time. And he said, "Look, here we go. Price is back. You good, Price?
Yes, back and better than ever.
Yes, you're sounding excellent. You're sounding excellent. We were just talking about the special effects. So they went to a guy called Dick Smith, and Dick Smith said, look, I don't think I'm right for the job. I have a guy for you. His name is Stan Winston.
Yeah, who is a legend in the business.
Yes.
Right.
And he did not only the makeup artistry, he also did the puppeteering as well.
Also the animatronics on the inside of the hand.
Now, if you see the endoskeleton right here on the screen, and it will come up every once in a while, he took that picture with James Cameron, and they started to model the robot and kind of developed it and develop it. And at the end of the day, they went back and they just stick with the original vision.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, they said it's the only thing that would work because the way James Cameron drew it, you can separate the torso from the legs pretty easily and reach the effect of the robot with the knife chasing you at the end, and you can see it at the end of the movie, obviously. The other thing,
hey Finn.
Yeah, hey Finn. The other thing is the other VFX is Cameron loved to shoot with models that can explode. Because he used to build models. So the company he hired was Fantasy 2, which did a lot of the work, especially doing this, what you see on the screen right here, doing the robots, which they also, as they were building the robots, they were shooting the thing. The shot where the robot kind of tramples the skulls, that was one of the first shots. The upper torso of that robot wasn't even built.
Oh wait. Did Fantasy 2? Did they also work on the Neverending Story?
I don't know. I think the Hansen company did the puppeteering.
Okay.
Yeah. But Cameron loved to work with them just because he's like, yeah, they do explosions and big models, and I love that stuff.
Oh, Sandra, don't worry. Camelot, we're not gonna go there. 'Tis a silly place.
I love how the Terminator looks. I love the effects. When it comes to this, there is an effect in the movie that maybe I would comment on, the one that he's in the mirror. I know that they did the best. They did the best with what they had at that time, but even the one that he's in the room with the fly on his head and stuff, that one is a bit fishy, but most of the stuff in this movie is absolutely fantastic.
I would say compare that though to a film that came out half a decade after this, which was Total Recall. This looks the practical effects are not that different.
Nope.
No.
And the weird part is that effect you're talking about with the mirror, the head was bigger than you think. It was about 2 times bigger than Arnold's head. And it took about 6 months to complete because they wanted to have not only the effect of him being in front of the mirror, there's a shot where they go closer into the eye.
Yeah.
They had to make it bigger in order to fit with the camera they were using, and the eye itself is an actual camera.
So
you can get the shutter effect. Yeah.
2 times bigger, just like Arnold's ego at the time.
I mean, listen, I appreciate the work that was done there, and as a kid when I watched it, I was mesmerized by it. But I guess when I look at it today, some of the effects hold up really nicely even until today. The mirror one, and especially that part later where like the landlord is saying, "Oh, is there a dead cat in there?" Whatever he says.
Fuck you, asshole.
Right, that whole scene, because when they cut from the model to Arnie, it kind of is clear that they've cut from a model to Arnie, and it's like that in the mirror, but in the other scene with the fly on his forehead, it's even more so.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, like if you think about late aughts, early 2010 CGI, it would look seamless, but modern day CGI it would probably look just as jarring. Look at modern Marvel films.
Right.
Yep.
You're probably right.
So the thing is, once they have all the cast and everything is set, they set a schedule for the summer of '83 to start shooting. But they had a little bit of a snag because Arnold was was set to be in a little movie we called Conan the Destroyer, but produced by one Dino De Laurentiis. And Dino De Laurentiis was a hothead Italian.
He's a fucking asshole. Let's put it first. He's not a hothead Italian. No, he's a fucking prick.
So anyway, they thought they were stealing Arnold from him, and he put the kibosh on everything. Now, this is after James Cameron went to Toronto, cleared everything with the red tape on shooting schedules, on streets that he wanted to shoot on, and it completely destroyed that entire schedule. And they had to wait until March of '84 to film, and they couldn't even film in Toronto. It was all done in LA. It was all done in really shitty parts of LA, and it was mostly done at night in a bad area of LA.
It's Skid Row.
It's not fun at all. So some of the bums and the winos and all that stuff that were in the shot were real bums and winos and that stuff. Yeah. And
That's crazy.
It was a lot due to budget stuff. And the entire shoot kind of rolled into the hot, it started in March, but it really rolled into the hot months of the summer, and it was not fun at one point to do a lot of running and next to fires and all that stuff. Wasn't fun. In a sense, the delay was actually a blessing in disguise, because all the stuff you see here was used as kind of storyboards and setting up shots and all that stuff for the special effects people that had a lot of time to actually do those shots. So everything was already in motion because they started to build everything and plan everything. So when they shot stuff, it was faster than your normal VFX shoot and into post-production, especially with the backing of that guy, which I didn't write the name of, but he's one of the financiers of the movie. One of the problems were that Linda Hamilton actually broke her ankle before the shoot. So in some of the running shots, they had to postpone until the ending of their shoot schedule. And she still ran on essentially a broken leg. And in some of the shots, you can definitely tell she's not really running. She's more like half running. Sometimes they disguised it, the at the end run where he's kind of leaning on her. So they're not really running in unison. It kind of is hobbling. They disguise it.
Well, at the end of the movie, she actually gets something in her leg, so she can't run.
Yes, but it was one of the earlier stuff that they shot.
I see what you mean.
Yes. Yeah. And once they were done, well, before the ending of the shoot, if you remember, there's a flashback scene where a Terminator comes into the sewers or where they were, and Reese drops the picture and it kind of gets burned.
Yeah.
The Terminator there was actually Arnold's friend, Arnold's really good friend, Franco Columbo, which
who was also another World's Gym professional bodybuilder. Yeah.
Correct. Yep. And he was in Arnold in the documentary that they did. I don't remember what it was. Is it Buns of Steel or something like that?
Well, that also, like, he did a lot of stunt work for Conan the Destroyer.
Is it Pumping Iron or something else?
Pumping Iron. Yeah. That's the one. So when they were done with the shoot, they went into the editing room and they figured out that they're missing a few shots. Now, in some of the shots that they needed, Arnold came back and Michael Biehn came back. Linda Hamilton, I don't think she did. But one of those shots, they needed Linda essentially, but not really. The shot where she drives off into the sunset, into that highway in the middle of nowhere.
Like kind of the epilogue. Like, there's a storm coming, and yeah.
Yes. So there's a shot where you see the Jeep kind of drive away, and they didn't have that. So they went with a sort of skeleton crew. The main guy from Fantasy 2, his son, Gail Hurd, James Cameron, and one other couple more people, and they went out into this road where they found, but they didn't. It was so fast and it was so low budget, they didn't really have any permits to shoot there. Now they waited for a certain time of day. Nobody was there. No car was on the road, so they were good. They find that the correct time they wanted to go and shoot. They started to set up in the middle of the road because they have to set up in the middle of the road to shoot this thing. A cop pulled by and are like, do you have any permits to shoot on this road? And then we're like, no, but please, officer, don't worry. They pointed to the son of the VFX dude. He was like, it's his college film thing. So if you don't mind us, we're just going to do it for 20 minutes and we'll leave. And the cop is like, no problem. I will even block the road for you.
And we're just basically like, son of a bitch.
That's the best cop ever. That's the best cop ever.
Now, essentially, James Cameron is an unknown guy. The rest of the crew is VFX people. Yeah. It's a producer. Nobody knows them. So he really had no idea
what it wasn't even actually like Linda Hamilton on set.
No, it wasn't.
So like, well, yeah, there's no reason for him to believe that. Like, it wasn't like Arnold Schwarzenegger just walked out. Like, I think I recognize that guy because even in 1983, 1984, you'd recognize him. And be like,
no, Arnold wasn't there. Nobody was there. It made up to be not only the last shot of the movie, it was the last thing to shoot in the reshoots. So one of the things in the reshoots that they did was the point where the Terminator gets crushed. That wasn't in the original shoot. They had to reshoot that.
Oh, okay.
The not the side where the arm comes out, but the side where it gets crushed.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a real press. It was actually two foam rubber things that got sprayed in with silver.
Yeah, because they're not going to destroy something that how much that it cost to make.
Because the model itself, the puppet itself, was, essentially metal. So when it crushed him, it actually compressed. The two foam rubber thingies, but you don't see it. All you see is just getting crushed.
Yeah.
And one more thing about the dolls. There's a moment where the Reese puts the bomb in the robot and it explodes. Stan Winston had to build a foam dummy puppet to stand in for the robot explosion because they could not blow up a metal robot for safety reasons.
Yeah,
they just blew up.
It would fly everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. So they blew up a foam thing. I went back and saw the explosion and again and again and again. You don't see it. You really do not see it. It looks really good.
Well, because that's what, especially in the 80s, practical effects had to be good. Otherwise, they looked fake. And how much the love I have for Tom Savini is because of this. Because it's like, seriously, some of the early kills that he did for horror, it's like, how the hell would you pull that off? Because you had to make it practical. There's no CGI. You had to make it practical. So, yeah, utmost credit to him. That's
all right. Cool. Now, before we go straight into the movie, we have a little segment, a little game we play. It is called Missing Marquee. Missing Marquee for the uninitiated is where we take 10 posters of movies, have their text written off, we display them, and price of reason, and you guys in the chat will have to guess which movie this is. You got a little bit of a sneak peek there, but price?
I actually know this one, Meth.
Is it The World Is Not Enough?
It is The world is not enough.
Oh,
True romance.
Wrong.
True
romance is correct.
Zoolander.
Zoolander.
Oh, we have to rewatch this movie again, Meth, because I told you this movie was goddamn good, and you're like, it's not. Then you watch it, yeah, it is. It's Petrie's.
I'm not sure about this one.
Mega City 1.
Yes.
I see. I don't think I've seen it.
No, Mega City 1 is the place. It's not the name of the movie.
He is the law?
Yes. It is I am the law, but not that movie.
Not
the
that
other
one.
movie. Ooh. Stomped. It's a comic book movie.
It's fucking fantastic. Reason, if you haven't watched it yet, you'll love it. Dystopian
I'll have to watch it then.
It's not Judge Dredd.
It's not Judge Dredd. It is simply Dredd.
Dredd. Yeah. See, DK got it.
Yes. Carl Urban. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Fucking great. This movie, Meth, I actually remember the name of this time.
Yeah.
It's still bad.
I'm not sure about this one. Sorry.
Okay. Cool. Let's see if the chat knows. I know you know, Fields. Sander Hammerschlag has got it. Melancholia. One of her worst film. It is
Rain Man.
Rain Man is correct. This is a Woody Allen movie. Essentially one of his best.
It's one. It's up there.
It's one of his best.
The banana. Something about a banana.
It's not bananas. No, it's not bananas.
It's not bananas.
Even though, no, it has a giant banana in it, and it's a giant banana scene, but it's not bananas. It is Sleeper. Feckless. Very nice.
Finn waking up really early or staying up way too late.
The movie where
the machinist or something.
The machinist is correct.
The American, Soriana, I think.
Not Soriana.
No, not Soriana.
The American.
No. It's the something. It's a terrible movie, by the way. I've seen it in the theater.
It's not The Interpreter, because that's only with Nicole Kidman and not with George Clooney.
Not The Interpreter. Yes, their UN is there, but it's not The Interpreter.
I know what movie this is, but it's so forgettable that I can't remember the name of it. I know exactly what it is.
It's the movie where there's a Croatian, not Bosnian, Croatian guy trying to sneak a nuclear suitcase and bomb the UN.
I see.
It is not Project Peacemaker, but it is The
Peacemaker, yeah.
Oh, I like this movie so much. Not just because I have a giant crush on Jennifer Connelly.
Is it The Rocketeer?
Yes, it is. That's The Rocketeer.
There we go.
That is the Rocketeer, though.
That is The Rocketeer. Correct.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Awesome. All right, let me set other things up here.
Reason I'm surprised you have not seen Dredd. Go watch it. It's so good.
I saw Dredd with Sylvester Stallone, Judge Dredd, whatever that was, many years ago.
Yeah, no,
and I actually, and I had a few Judge Dredd comics growing up, and I thought they were cool. But I never got a chance to watch the Carl Urban one. I know a lot of people are always very excited about it. I just never got a chance to see it.
I would say Dredd is more equivalent to the comics than the film. It has a way more serious tone to it.
That's probably how it should be, because I think that the Sylvester Stallone one didn't really capture it.
Not at all.
No. But he is the law.
And I love Armando Sante trial. Armando Sante said in an interview, I am just trying to do my best Sylvester Stallone impersonation. That's all I'm trying to do in this movie. It's like, dude, you did a great job.
The thing is that he was just really miscast in the role. I really like Sylvester Stallone. I don't know why they cast him as Dredd, aside from maybe they thought that he was like a box office draw.
Well, he was the only draw all the time. Yeah.
He wasn't the right casting for it, even though I really like him.
So, the Terminator. Now, one of the things, I was actually there last year. This is Griffith Park, the observatory, essentially. It's a great shot of Los Angeles. I think that's why they kind of went for it. One of the things that sold the studio executives on Arnold, because they had to run it by the execs, always do, is the fact that everybody said he kind of looks like a robot anyway, or he is believable as a guy who you can believe that underneath that skin is a metal endoskeleton.
Or really AI would imagine what a perfect human being would look like as a male at the time. Like, yeah, that's Arnold. Yeah. And then also, come on, you got Bill Paxton, you got the fucking villain from Highlander 1. Let's go.
Yes.
Yeah, even just like very, very minor characters here are cool.
Yeah.
It only would have been better is after when he got pushed out, he said, "Game over, man."
Yeah.
But foretelling of Aliens 2, but
essentially, after this movie came out, James Cameron got the job to write the script, not direct, but write the script for Aliens 2. Yeah. And when he got to direct it, it was like, okay, I've got the perfect people. I've got Bill Paxton, I've got Lance Henriksen, I've got Michael Biehn. I'm good. I'm all good. And also, he got the not only the gig to write Aliens 2, he got the gig to write First Blood Part 2, so Rambo 2, essentially.
Right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Which Stallone kind of butchered, but we'll put that aside.
That's a conversation.
You know what?
For another day.
I feel like Michael Biehn should have been in more movies. I really like him anytime he's in a movie, and I don't know why we didn't see more of him.
I mean, look, he was in The Terminator. He was in Aliens 2. He was in Tombstone. He was the main guy in Tombstone, but he doesn't have a lot of screen time because Ringo is not, you can see him here and there, but he's got some really good roles.
But I feel like there was a nice run there of those years, but then for some reason I feel like he kind of faded away. And I actually always really liked that actor. I felt like, he could have been given more. But I always like seeing him in the movies that he's in, of course.
I think he's a really talented actor that was sort of like they wanted an archetype for something and they couldn't find it in Michael. And he kind of went by the wayside. But it happens in Hollywood all the time, especially back then, where somebody's really hot for like a couple of movies, but then he doesn't fit this role and he doesn't fit this role and kind of is, just goes by the wayside.
Well, at least if nothing else, he has enough going for him that he could still go to like conventions today and still, he's in iconic movies. There's no way around that. So at least he has that on his belt.
Yeah, like he's got the sci-fi conventions that he can go to with Aliens 2 and the Terminator, and he can go to like a Western convention with the Tombstone.
Absolutely. And you know what? Terminator is one of my favorite movies. I mean, I wouldn't say it's my favorite movie because that probably goes to like The Godfather, but it's certainly a movie that I really, really like, and his performance will always stand out in that movie. And I don't know if I've told you this, I like Terminator 1 more than Terminator 2. I understand that production-wise, Terminator 2 is the better movie, the visual effects. There's a million things you could say about the second one. I still really like it. But when it comes to telling the story and the feeling I felt when I first watched it and the rewatchability factor, Terminator 1 for me, that's the real deal.
Hold on.
I want to say, just as an aside real quick, wanted to say, Paul, you're absolutely right. That's not Clancy Brown. No, it's Brian Thompson. He was Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That's my bad.
I made a mistake. I had to put this on. Sorry.
Is it because I said I like Terminator 1?
Yes. No, I actually did plan on having it because I like Judgment Day and I like this specific poster, essentially. But you know, it is what it is. I prefer the story in 2, but you have to see 1 in order to appreciate 2. Especially there are 2 major things. I know it's not the same movie, but there's 2 essentially great twist on the audience, or twist, not one is the twist on the audience and one is the twist on the character, where when the 2 Terminators meet with John Connor in the middle and he doesn't know who to bounce off of, that's our revelation. And then later on, when he goes to Sarah and Sarah is afraid of him, but we already know Arnold's like the man, and he's like, come with me if you want to live. And he has that, because
it's a repeat line
audience.
The line from Kyle at the very beginning too. Yeah,
but I get what you're saying, Bryce. I think it's we can argue until tomorrow which one is better. I essentially love the second one better, I think, and you can disagree. I think that if Cameron had the same budget in the first Terminator, it would have been a much bigger sort of fight. Which one is better? Because he would have gotten the effects that he wanted, and maybe a longer story and a better cut of the movie than we actually got. Because, like I said, they shot the Terminator essentially on a B movie budget, shoestring. I mean, Cameron was sent coupons from his mom to buy a 1+1 meal in McDonald's, so we'll have essentially a meal a day for 2 days because he was so starving. And one thing I didn't mention, it was in my notes. When the movie came out, let me see. Let me just check my notes. The name of the guy who sued him, Harlan Ellison. Harlan Ellison is a Hollywood writer, and he essentially sued Cameron and the production team because he said Cameron took bits and pieces from like Outer Limits and other stuff that I did and composited it into the Terminator. And they had to settle out of court because essentially the studio doesn't want to go to trial and, roll the dice. Cameron vehemently refused for this to do any kind of settlement until the insurance company of the studio told him, look, if we're going to trial, you're liable for the cost. And he was still poor at the time before, all the stuff happened. And he's like, fine, I guess. But he always vehemently said he never copied from Allison whatsoever. So,
well, because that was also, just as a side note, that actually got brought up when Judgment Day came out, because Harlan Ellison tried to sue them again for the same thing.
Really?
Which we talked about during our Judgment Day review.
Yeah, I think we talked about, because his name was familiar.
Yeah.
So we do
have Traxler, and we have Hal. Let's call him Hal.
And they're talking about the fact that there are 2 Sarah Connors that got killed, and they're reaching out to this other Sarah Connor. They want her to come in because they want to protect her.
Yeah,
because there's a crazy man on the loose.
As a possibility, it's just, well, and also too, like, well, I hate cases, especially the crazy ones.
Yeah.
But one thing too is there's always, like, if you just pay attention really closely, there are just subtle jabs of jokes about time. Because even the waitress friend that this works with, that when the kid drops the scoop of ice cream in her apron, goes, "Hey, in 100 years, who's gonna care?"
Yes, exactly. There's small little innuendos all throughout the stuff.
Yeah, it's great. But we have that Gale, which, oh my God, girl, take your fucking headphones off.
Oh yeah. I don't think it would help. I don't think it would have helped, but yeah. And this is the point where she kind of realizes, there's 2 dead Sarah Connors. That's my name. and it gets her going. And this is where she
like Kyle Reese apparently for being in it. For stealth espionage, being trained all his life to be sneaky. How the hell did Sarah Connor clock him? Like,
I don't know. So she wanted to meet up with her friend out, and then her friend decided, well, we're just gonna stay in.
Not a friend. It was she was gonna go on a date as she got dumped. Basically, so she's gonna go out to go see a movie, and then she goes to a pizza parlor, and then sees the news broadcast, and then
and
goes
then that
tech noir. Which, by the way, I forgot how terrible 80s synth was.
I haven't.
It's
Now,
bad.
why did
By
they?
the way, I
ahead.
want to say that if I was making a movie now about the 80s, I couldn't create a more 80s feeling to this bar and to the people in it than they created in this movie. Even like with all the people, like to reverse engineer it and to recreate it, the atmosphere of this is so over the top 80s, and I love it.
Yeah,
you even got the guy dancing right before Arnold with the piano key tie. I'm like,
yeah. I want to get to a specific point. It's after Arnold kills the roommate and her boyfriend, and he goes to Tech Noir because she called in
Gail and Matt,
Gail, and left a message, and he listened to the message like, "Oh, Tech Noir."
I would say
I'm going to go there.
That entire scene was though, Arnold stepped on the headphones. I'm like, yes.
So he gets.
If you think about it, anytime Sarah makes a phone call, people die in this movie.
Yes, she's like, bitch, get off the phone.
Get off the phone. She calls her friend for her. First of all, she's because of her friend died to begin with. But then like she called, and then the guy shows up at that bar and kills people. And then later with her mother, she calls her mother and she dies as well. And also the police. She calls the police, and all those police officers die. Basically, anybody that Sarah interacts with, talks to, calls is dead.
Yeah. very much a Japanese horror movie kind of type of a call, I would say. So,
yeah.
So
it's not Ringu. It's more Ringu or
Mochi more Ringu. See, when I said it, I knew exactly who I'm talking to.
For. Yep.
So we get to this point where she's just sitting there. He comes in and he pulls out a gun.
Which we overshot the gun shop scene. The only thing I want to talk about is that guy who's the gun shop owner. He is infamous because he's been in so many horror films.
He was in. He's Mr. Hufferman.
Yes,
he was in Gremlins, wasn't he?
In Gremlins,
yes,
he was Mr. Hufferman.
He was
the
also,
one that was like seeing the Gremlins.
He was also in Chopping Mall, which is a movie that we talked about a lot that we never have shown yet. But the show the podcast Dead Meat and all those guys. That's his line from that movie.
Dead meat, yeah.
If these punks who did that, they're gonna be dead meat.
Okay, I want to touch upon this.
Wow, that's a bad look for Linda.
I want to touch upon this. I found it really hard to get the exact point, but this is the point where he pulls her out of this nightclub. She essentially resists him. She doesn't want to go with him, but he says like, "Come with me if you want to live."
Yeah, which is
and when Arnold climbs aboard this car, there's a composite shot that I didn't know about until we kind of got into it. There's a moment where you see him, the camera's in the car looking at him as he pulls the fist and then puts it in. When he puts it in, it's a shot from the outside of the car, sort of perpendicular to where it was. And there's a fist going into the car, right? That fist going into the car was a mechanical arm. I went back to watch and rewatch that moment. You cannot see the mechanical arm. You just think it's Arnold's fist because it's essentially 24 frames.
Didn't he burn his eyebrows for real there, or something happened?
No, it was Stan Winston's makeup.
Okay. I don't remember what I thought that something happened during the shoot of that thing, but maybe I'm wrong.
There was something up with the shoot with the makeup and the eyebrows. He went to lunch without the eyebrows in a full regalia, missing an eye, or not missing an eye. It had a makeup on his eye to where that eye should be at. And he went to lunch and people were looking at him sideways because there was no trailers, no crafts table. He just went out to lunch with half makeup on.
It only would have been if he had like a pocket little boombox going da 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 da.
Remember, this is people recognizing Arnold, but don't know what the fuck is going on.
He's doing, yeah.
Yes. Now this, and Michael Biehn said it in the behind the scenes.
This right here is okay. This is exposition dump number 1.
Yes.
This is, I think, one of the pratfalls that modern films kind of fall into that was established by films, especially this is one of the major examples in the 80s, where we don't have time to do the full story, so we're just going to have the main character do an exposition dump, and that's it.
Yes, but the thing is, actually, Michael Biehn said it was a smart way because you had to convey a lot of information in terms of what is going on, because Sarah needs to understand why she's running away from this Terminator. And there's a lot to go in it. So he had to explain the time travel. He had to explain essentially Skynet.
It's also like, is Sarah stupid? Because I would still, as a person with a brain and some common sense, as Sarah clearly has, and some sense of self-preservation, I'm running away because this guy's fucking crazy. And the guy who's after me is even crazier.
I guess. So
yeah, I mean, it's totally a crazy story. I don't mind the whole exposition thing. I think it's fine that he's telling her all this stuff.
No, what Michael?
It works.
Wait.
Sorry,
What Michael Biehn said was he liked the fact that every exposition dump was always on the move. They were hiding in the car. They were driving away. They were running away. They were trying to hide in that storm drain area where she asked him about the future, right? So it's not like they're stopping. They're sort of stopping the movie and they're just exposition dump. It is always on the move. There's always a sensation of he's after us. He's after us. He's after us. We need to keep going. But I want her to understand why this is happening. So yes, I get the exposition dump, but I get what you liked, Price, where you liked having that information, but it's again always on the go. Always,
I love that it's on the go. I think, listen, exposition is something that you need in a movie, but sometimes you have directors and writers that know how to do it better than others. If you look at Back to the Future, the entire first act is a bunch of exposition that is given to you so nicely that you just enjoy what you're watching and don't realize how much exposition it is until it all becomes relevant later. That's why, for me, like Back to the Future is one of the best screenplays I've ever seen. It's just amazing. But the Terminator, I like the idea that they're on the run and, he's giving her the information. Totally works for me.
Yeah. See, what I was referring to is the fact that modern directors are taking this as something to utilize as a way to get past actual screenwriting. I think it works well here because the fact that it has to be constantly moving. Like it makes sense that he's doing this exposition dump because if he doesn't, there's no way that she would believe him. And even though that she kind of does, still kind of is out there that why she would believe him. But that's regardless. It's more the fact that the exposition dump is suiting the purpose where it should be done, and it's done correctly. Because it would maybe make a lot less sense if all of a sudden like like say Princess Bride, where they cut to the narrator doing the exposition dump. That makes sense because it's the narrator and it's a old man telling the kid a story. But if you're like, oh yeah, by the way, and then it'd be side narration during that where a narrator would just talk over what happened as an exposition dump, wouldn't work. In modern films, narration is more key when utilizing exposition, or just like characters going like, well, I had no idea what's going on, and I'm just unloading everything in front of the character and also basically the audience too. Which I think modern films treat the audience as though they're children more than anything else. Which
I agree.
I hate so much.
I know, and I agree. Now, I put this on. One of the things is with Michael Biehn, they wanted to make sure he can do as much as on-camera stunts as possible. Now, there's a moment, I'm going back to the start of the movie, where you see him getting dropped down on essentially asphalt or concrete. The guy doing the stunt was 5 feet in the air and had to drop from a 2x4 sideways on concrete. Biehn said, yeah, I prefer that he does it. Besides, you don't see my face on screen, so I didn't really care. I just felt for the guy. It was pretty nasty fall anyway, but this he actually did do in the streets of LA with, we'll call it a semi-permit to do, but not really. They just did it. I think Cameron said they were like a gonzo shoot or guerrilla shoot. Sorry, a guerrilla shoot for the most part when they shot on the on the exterior shots. It was just gung ho, just shoot, and just move on, because otherwise, A, we're gonna have to pay the cops more overtime, and B, somebody's gonna ask why we're doing this. In one of the blooper reels, they were doing the chase scene where essentially there's a crane just pulling the car along. But in one of the takes, Michael was so intense in the talk, he ripped up the steering wheel. Now, it doesn't really steer, so it's not really a big problem. But he was like, I don't know what to do with this thing in my hand. We're not supposed to. The take is ruined. So he gave the steering wheel to Linda and said, okay, you drive now. And made a big laugh. And I thought it was really funny story. But yeah, he said there were moments where it was a real intensive shoot where they didn't really have time. So every take had to be like, you need to be on. So he was essentially on. I want to get to this point. I can't really show much, but I can show this. Oh, shit. Hold on a little bit with me. I want to get to a specific point because it has to do with the VFX. There we go. Now, don't hate me, YouTube, and I might have to fight you on the demonetization part, but this exact shot was storyboarded in advance and built in advance, however possible. But it's one of the storyboard shots where they actually took it to the studio to show them this is how it's going to look. And the studio was like, nah, you're not going to be able to do this. This particular shot, I think, was done really well.
Yes, I do.
Really well. So you can tell the fingers are moving with the interior endoskeleton. It looks really good. Really good. Holds up until today.
I will say too, the only thing that's really jarring from this is the shot afterward with the endoskeleton.
With the eye. Yeah.
Well, no. The shot later with the stop motion endoskeleton looking like it's straight out of a Sam Raimi film. I was like, ugh, that does not carry over well. No.
Some of those shots they had to do in parts. Where you see just the leg crushing a skull. Yeah, that's just the leg. There's no extra thing above it.
I'm talking about after when it's just the endoskeleton walking, and it's clearly just it's clearly just stop motion at the very end. Where compared to this practical effects, it's very, very jarring.
Now there isn't an additional thing between Linda, Michael, and Arnold. I'm gonna save it towards the end. Just remind me. So, Kyle and Sarah get caught. Sarah is removed. Kyle is removed. They think he's the guy who's killing all the Sarah Connors. They bring in Dr. I forgot his name, but essentially it's
Dr. Peter Silverman.
Silverman, that's it. Silverman. It's played by
when he walks in, he's yawning already, like forensic psychology.
Yeah.
And when he walks in, like, is he crazy? Oh, he's an absolute loon.
Yeah. Earl Bowen. I wanted to get the name Earl Bowen. And they actually essentially took him forward to be the head of where Sarah Connor's being,
detained in T2.
Yeah, detained. And this is the only point in the movie where the name Skynet is even mentioned.
Correct.
I think he also mentioned Cyberdyne, but I think it's something that I misremember. Every single time I watch this,
he mentioned Cyberdyne Systems during this, because it's Cyberdyne who ended up selling it to the Department of Defense, who utilized it.
Yeah. So essentially, this is the only point where you hear the name Skynet, because it's not mentioned ever again until Judgment Day.
Initially, wasn't there a deleted scene at the end that you see Skynet and they cut it out or something?
I don't think so.
I thought it was where he ended up getting the hand, and that's where
yes. There's a
and it ends up that's where they retro. That's where they
right. There's a deleted scene that while Sarah Connor is being brought out, there's like two guys there that are talking about the parts that they found there that I thought they were either from Cyberdyne System or Skynet or whatever it is. And I guess James Cameron let somebody that was like a friend of the production be in that scene, but at the end the scene he thought was awful and he cut it out, and I think that the person that was in the scene was really annoyed, but maybe I'm wrong.
I now remember. I thought about something else. I thought about the added scene from the Salvation stuff that they cut, but never mind. I don't know why. My mind went to Salvation for some reason.
Salvation is barely a movie. I mean, out of all the Terminators, it's probably like the third best one, but the quality dip between the second and third best one is so great that it really, for me, 1 and 2, those are Terminator movies. The rest are kind of varying degrees of like mediocrity.
I would put this way. I would put the rest starting at T3. It's an alternate universe.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Essentially,
Terminator.
And yes, hi Gambit, I seen you. And yes, Griffin, I've seen you. Don't worry about it. I've seen you guys. Thank you. We're coming close to a scene that essentially, is a scene that really made Arnold's career, essentially.
I would say so, because
it's
still in the same kind of cultural zeitgeist. Whenever anybody thinks of Arnold, it'd be, well, now anymore, they never think of the original Terminator, because they always think of I'll Be Back as in T2. Because same with Hasta La Vista Baby, that they think of T2.
Yeah, but this is where the I'll Be Back thing got in. And did we decide on the Terminator before I made the intro or after? I think after.
Way after, yeah.
After. But I kind of like the fact that I could insert this I'll Be Back with T2 I'll Be Back and Last Action Hero I'll Be Back. It's like, you didn't think I would say that, did you?
We haven't actually covered yet is Last Action Hero.
We will. We'll find it a place. Yeah. We'll find it a place. I want to cover it with Barbie. You know why?
Yeah, I know why.
So this is the point where he knows she's been taken because he knows she got arrested. And she's like, where is she? It's like, if she's in, it's like, I'll be back. And how does he come back? Oh, he just drives into the desk sergeant with a car.
Yep.
Because why the fuck not? And he just goes ham on the entire police station. He kills everybody in there except for Kyle Reese, who manages to escape, and a Silverman managed to escape that hellhole. And again, Sarah and Kyle go on the run. Like I said, they reach this storm drain where he literally tells her about her son, about the exposition dump number 2, where he tells her about the future and all that stuff. And he essentially tells her, don't have any contact. This is the point where he tells her, you have to stay off the grid, no contact, till we can figure out how to like escape this guy and disappear. And what does she do? The next morning, she calls her mom, and her mom's dead. And this is where we have the sort of like that flashback of, you know, the Terminator infiltrating in.
And no, the thing is too was he having that, and then he was just jarred when she awoke, because it seemed kind of transitory the second. Like I watched it twice, over again, and every single time when it's cut from this flashback to the present, she goes, "Oh, I had a dream." It's like, wait, was she seeing the future?
I don't think she means this dream.
Okay.
No, she said she had a dream about dogs or something.
Yes.
Yeah. Because, the dog was in there. Well, which is too is also later the Terminator doesn't kill the dog. Where am I?
Let's just
going on. Because the Terminator in the dream kills the dog.
Yes, because she says, I dreamt about a dog, and he says we use them to spot the Terminator.
Alarms. Yeah.
But she might have dreamt about a dog because at the evening he tells her about the future. So she, I don't know, she conjures it in her mind. I have no idea. Maybe influenced by what he told her.
But during that, there was the picture scene. So it's like, no, that's him having a recollection then, because how would she know that he had a picture of her?
I think they just wanted to remind the audience that if you see a dog barking, it means that the Terminator is close, because soon, not too long afterwards, that becomes relevant. And I feel like that was just a reminder for people who didn't realize this. They just wanted to call it exposition, call it planting and payoff, whatever you want to call it, but I think they just wanted to add that.
Yeah, a nice little setup and payoff.
At the very end of the film, she ends up with that dog in the back of the... Did she go back to the motel to steal the dog?
Maybe it's a different dog, but it certainly looks like it.
It is
dog?
Well, it's James Cameron's German Shepherd.
But still, it's like, I think that lady just stole somebody's dog, huh?
And besides the fact that she calls her mom, and essentially she's already been answering, like she's talking to Arnold. Essentially, they have that sex scene, which is essentially the grandfather paradox all over again.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's like, well, technically, if I wasn't born to come back, then you wouldn't be born. So...
Yes, it's the grandfather paradox. Essentially, I send somebody into the past in order to sire my own self.
But just as an aside, because people have asked this question, like, why didn't Cyberdyne Systems just like coat a nuclear bomb in that flesh steel and send it to Trigger as soon as it passed through the gate, right? It's like, Well, because it would kill everybody, including all the people that would work for Cyberdyne
Right.
that created them. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is reasoning within this sci-fi movie, which, to be fair, I said at the start that the studio executives especially said to Cameron, this is not a sci-fi movie. Because to them, sci-fi was Battle Beyond the Stars, Ice Pirates. Well, not Ice Pirates haven't come out yet, but
Star Trek,
Star Wars. That is sci-fi. Sci-fi is in space. And they forgot about Blade Runner. And they forgot about other stuff that were on. Sci-fi back then was not just they didn't know they can make sci-fi that was not in space, which takes me back to the name Tech Noir. The name Tech Noir was there. You can see it flashing for a little bit. I've paused it essentially on it, but Gail Hurd said that they named it Tech Noir in order to invoke the sort of cyberpunk feel to the movie, where it's a dark sci-fi fantasy story, essentially. That's what she said. And I thought, well, maybe not fantasy, but definitely dark sci-fi would match this movie very, very nice. It's AI going haywire. It's man versus machine kind of deal with, but it's sort of like the future is coming home into essentially the present, which is 1984. And this is why this movie is, I think, important, because in the way it was done, the way it was shot, and the way they, James Cameron essentially did not compromise his own sort of artistic endeavor, and coupled with Gail Hurd really helping him in terms of the production stuff and just talking to executives and just pushing them back, really helped, along with a lot of people who watched the movie and really were like, oh, I get what you were going for. Please continue.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, it is a great movie. All right. We'll do a stop right here because we essentially have the last scene. I want to do our second game.
The one that after the picture and the burning, just the one shot. If you can find it, just the one bit where he has the dialogue options and he picks "fuck you, asshole." I was like, okay. Even as a kid, I found it was funny. Even today, when I watched it again this morning, I found it hilarious.
Is it outside of the motel, right?
No, he's in the motel room when the superintendent's knocking on the door.
Oh, is it this? You can see it down below, right?
It's after he's alone in the motel after this.
It's really hard to.
No, I'm sorry. It's way before that.
Never mind. He essentially finds the motel and goes in guns blazing, right? I know exactly what you're talking about, but I don't remember what exactly it is in the movie.
It's right before this because it's after he has the call on the phone. But anyway, doesn't matter.
The dog kind of recognizes and he barks and essentially alerts Kyle and Sarah to what is about. Essentially, I can't really show that.
Pipe bombs too. Like, okay, all right, well, makes sense. You're in the future. You need to.
All right, cool. Let's do our second game of the night. There we go. There and there. All right, second game of the night. It is called Screen Fighter.
Round 1, fight.
Screen Fighter is where we take movies, pit them together and see which one is the best one. If there's no discernible difference between the two, both of them are good or both of them are bad, we fall into our criteria, which is Saturday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, out with your significant other. 2 movies in a vacuum. Which one will we pop in? Chat participation is most welcome. I see many other people joined us.
I have to say,
please cast your vote.
That's a very.
Should I say? Are we asking the audience, or do I need to answer it?
Yeah,
we three decide between ourselves, and the audience just gives us a little bit of an input. Price, which one will you pick?
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park. Reason? Dinosaurs. You don't have to give me a reason. That's fine. Feelings.
First of all, that's a very, very odd Japanese poster for Cape Fear. It's just Robert Downey Jr. without a shirt on. A little bit weird. Great Jurassic Park poster, but sorry, Cape Fear.
Too bad it's De Niro, not RDJ, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, all my feelings kind of knows where I'm going with this.
Yeah,
I don't particularly like Jurassic Park. I don't think it's a bad movie. I just personally I don't like it. I know that many people do, and most of the chat was like Jurassic Park. It's easy. Jurassic Park. Nature will win. We'll find a way.
There's dinosaurs in it.
Like I said, there's dinosaurs in it. But I prefer to watch Cape Fear. Right. John Carter.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna need a minute.
Okay. So talk about Disney bombs. I actually Madam Web is in Disney. It's Sony. Oh, Price fell. Well, he'll get back. So two theatrical bombs, one more than the other. Madam Web or John Carter?
Okay. I have to say this. Okay. John Carter, not a great film, but and actually for how much shit it gets, it's not that bad of a movie. It really isn't. I will have to say, though, given the context, I will watch Madam Web every single day of the week. You know why? It's so bad, it's funny. Oh my God. You want to laugh your ass off, have a couple drinks? Madam Web is the movie for you. It is so much fucking fun.
It is so bad. I have it on Netflix.
So bad. It's awful.
Fucking awful. John Carter all the way. It is not.
Yeah. John Carter is
as
a
bad
better
as
film.
people.
Get it. John Carter is a really good movie.
To be fair, John Carter, most of the problems it had was a bad release date and really bad promotion.
Correct.
Right, Price. Which one is it?
I think Madam Web made me laugh at least.
Thank you, Price. Yep.
I sat in the theater and I really laughed hard. I mean, it was awful, but it was so bad that it was funny.
Yep.
Feelings said exactly the same thing as you dropped off. So you're going to pick Madam Web and Feelings?
I am.
Which one, Carter or Web?
John Carter is actually a kind of decent movie. Madam Web, seriously, have a couple of drinks with your friends and just laugh your fucking ass off. That movie it's so bad, it's hilarious.
I can't pick Madam Web. It's fucking awful. It did not make me laugh at all.
Everybody else in the chat said John Carter. It's okay. You pick John. That's okay.
No, fine, John Carter. It's not a bad movie.
Come on.
The Lake House or Take Him to the Greek.
Get Him to the Greek is one of my low-key favorite comedy films of the last 20 years. I love that movie. And I know you hate it, Meth.
I know. Price?
I think I liked Get Him to the Greek. I haven't watched it in a while, but it was kind of amusing when I saw it, I think.
Okay. I'm going to pick, shockingly, Get Him to the Greek. The Lake House is fucking boring. They sold this movie as a romantic comedy with the same couple that we saw 10 years earlier in Speed. Did not work for me. Holy shit.
That was the same thing with the time travel thing with the notes and the
the house that they kept putting letters in. It's stupid. Sharp's Revenge, which I have seen, and Alice in Wonderland, the Tim Burton version. Price? Okay.
I have not seen Sharp's Revenge.
Bryce, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Alice in Wonderland.
Okay, cool. Okay. Feelings?
I haven't seen Sharp's Revenge. Nope.
Watch it. It's not good.
Did Sean Bean die in it as he does in everything?
Yes.
Does he? Yes.
I think so. I don't remember. It's way better than Alice in Wonderland.
That was his. Oh well. I'm sorry. The Color Purple is a great movie, but it's not a movie you want to sit around and have fun with. John Wick Chapter 3.
Let me just introduce it. The Color Purple or John Wick 3. Bryce?
John Wick 3, even though The Color Purple is a better movie, but it's just a downer.
Yeah.
All right. Same with feelings. Same with me. I've seen The Color Purple. It's a decent film, but even though I don't really like John Wick past the first movie, it's a fun popcorn movie. And if the choice was in limbo, you were like, yeah, of course I'm going to pick John Wick 3. It's, it's a much more entertaining movie. Yeah. Which one is better? Most probably
Color Purple, yeah.
Color Purple, but yeah. Paths of Glory and Beowulf. The CGI filled Beowulf.
Oh, fuck you, Meth.
Haven't seen any of these. Either of these I haven't seen.
Okay. I'll put it this way. Reason. You know how much you liked how much when you watched Madam Web, you just laughed at it?
Absolutely.
That's how much fun you'll have with Beowulf, if not more fun, because it's also terrible CGI.
Yeah.
God, you will laugh your fucking ass off. It is so bad.
And I've actually seen Paths of Glory. It is a really downer of a movie because it's a movie about World War I and the French trenches.
It's not fun.
Not fun. But you've got Kirk Douglas with fucking an absolute masterpiece of acting. It is really
it's also
good.
The Stanley Kubrick torturing Kirk to death as well. Yes.
It's a one and done though. It's a one and done.
Yeah.
All right. Shrek, the original or The Postman. Last pairing.
Shrek.
Cool.
I have no qualms about it. Shrek. I saw it in theaters when I was working at a theater.
I'm just waiting for the audience. It's pretty much, it's Shrek. It's
Shrek. I mean, there's a reason why it did billions and then made how many fucking sequels and spin-offs and.
I didn't like the sequels as much, but I thought that the first one, maybe the first and second one, were good.
Yeah, that's fair.
If The Postman wasn't edited the way it was, it's essentially not a bad movie, a really bad edit. It's just way too long. Way too long. If you would have cut away 45 minutes from that movie, it's a pretty decent movie.
Oddly, I feel the same way with Dances with Wolves and Last of the Mohicans.
Same.
Oh my god, Last of the Mohicans is an hour too long. I agree. It's a slog.
Essentially, not a bad movie, a bad edit. One of those movies you're like, yeah, you don't need this much, cinematic view of something or this plot line or that plot line or essentially. Like I said, Postman is not a bad movie. It's just a really bad edit and it's way too long.
No.
All right. So we've got our couple here, being chased down by the Terminator. He's already has that Terminator glasses because he's essentially trying to hide his damaged eye socket.
As a side note, I've been able to actually find replicas of them online. They're very expensive.
Very expensive. And one of the things they were trying to do here is James Cameron actually wanted to blow up an actual tanker truck. Yes.
Like they did in Thelma and Louise, which we thought was like, this is a bit excessive.
Yeah. The thing about Thelma and Louise, that was in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And this was a guerrilla shoot in downtown LA.
Yeah.
Not only that, they were set to like destroy it in front of a police station, which that particular police station held a lot of confiscated firearms and explosives. And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, confiscated explosives in LA? Okay. Okay. So yeah, they couldn't do it, not just because of the noise, just because of it being really close to a essentially an arms depot. So they were not allowed. That entire explosion was done actually twice. And it was a big miniature. It's not miniature, but it was built to scale in a large miniature in a fake street in a lot. How it was done is they were pulling the truck. They built a truck to model, to scale, and they had to match what they shot on location. The way it was mashed, the way it was burnt on location that was already shot, they had to recreate in order to make sure the scene that was shot like a month later in a studio matched what they shot in the street.
Yeah.
So they had to pull the truck with a little rope, and the first time they did it, they pulled it a little bit too hard. The front two wheels pulled off instead of moving the truck. And the guy who was in charge of the explosion pressed on it essentially at the wrong time.
Was it like Danny McBride and just went, big ass titties?
Yeah, big ass titties. Bam! And they had to rebuild another truck to make sure, so when they pull it next time, it won't
actually pull the truck. Yeah.
The good thing about it is it didn't destroy the entire set, just the truck itself. So it took about another week to build a new one and rig it for explosion and all that stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
The final result looks good, though, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were really happy with the stuff that Fantasy 2 made, the VFX crew. Again, the only stuff that you mentioned that didn't quite match was actually not them. It was all Stan Winston's department, which was makeup and robotics.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So essentially shots like this, which is, you can tell it's a puppet.
It's a puppet. Well, the fake head, yeah.
But they only had to build that because they couldn't fit an eye that would move that was small enough to put it in Arnold's eye and make it look like it's his. So they had to build this.
The only thing too is they could have not done that, but kept with the same model that they had when Arnold moves into the trailer, because it's clearly him with the half prosthetic metal skull mask when he gets get out. They're like, whoa, wow, that would look great.
No, some of it's actually makeup.
Yeah.
But when they had to move the eye, they couldn't do it because they didn't have a miniature enough. Now they could probably do that and have some sort of a miniature moving LED light stuff, and then fit it into somebody's on top of somebody's eye and make it kind of look like it's theirs. But so we have this big explosion after the Terminator picks up this massive tanker truck, which they kind of had another tanker truck in T2, but
yeah. Also, plot question: how did Kyle still have a pipe bomb left?
It was in his bag.
How did the bag survive?
I was looking for it.
He came prepared.
He came, yeah.
But so, how did the bag survive the crash and then being pulled through fire? I don't.
Anyway, if you remember the start of the show, this was something that was.
This is where I mentioned where the stop motion is like, wow, that's really jarring.
Yes, but they could not do it otherwise. And by the way, this is one of the only shots where you can have the entire thing, the entire body. Most of it is parts, and it wasn't stop motion. It was actually a real size mechanical robot that they had that they could manipulate and do like shots from like upper torso or side or all that stuff. And some of it is actually the body that you see kind of crawling after he gets halved.
Yeah.
But this specific shot was modeled after the storyboard shots that Cameron drew. The only thing is missing here is the gun, which they kind of said, well, we don't need the gun here at this moment. He's just chasing them by foot. He lost the gun in the big explosion.
It goes back to the more horror elements where he is like a Jason or a Michael Myers, where he is an unstoppable killing machine. He's literally a machine, but no, that's what he's built to do. And he's well, as Kyle Reese so eloquently stated, like, he's never going to stop.
Yeah. And this is the moment where you can kind of tell where they assembled the body or the puppet.
Yeah.
Where you see why they went with this design, which was essentially the original design, because it was sort of like logistically better than any other design that they had. Plus, you know, it was serviceable. So it kind of looked like they wanted to go for not only a look where it's menacing, it's closer to whatever Cameron's vision was. Plus, you can actually tell where the parts kind of fit in order for them to have a replacement. Sort of like, we're going to get to it in Short Circuit, but just like in Short Circuit, where they can just attach something else and essentially you have a rebuilt robot.
Johnny Five is alive, yes.
Yeah, Johnny Five is alive. We'll get to that. Oh, wait. I want to get there. So Reese actually manages. So this is one of the puppets where this is actual on location, but it's just the top of that puppet, just because it just looks that good. Otherwise, it will look like you said, very much. No, it was very much stop motion-y.
Yeah.
Evil Dead kind of, or Army of the Dead. Yeah.
No. Going back to the Evil Dead, because Sam Raimi took that from like Sinbad and the Pirates.
Clash of Titans.
Clash of Titans was another one. Yes.
Clash of Titans.
Sinbad and also Jason the Argonauts. Old like late 60s, early 70s films that utilize stop motion, where it's clearly jarring now, but when you're watching with your kid, like, oh, this is the best thing ever.
So, as I was saying, one of the shots here, it's not the full puppet. It's just two legs and somebody just...
The feet?
Yes, it just somebody does this.
Also, the articulation on that, too, the fact they put the ball to actually put the ball of an actual human foot, like, that's a nice touch.
Yes.
So it's not just a flat palm. So it actually can actually simulate human movement.
Yes, it actually looks like a workable skeleton.
Yeah.
And this is the point where she grabs a shrapnel, and they kind of disguise the fact that
Kyle put the last pipe bomb into the chest and blew him apart. And yeah.
Yeah, and this is the part where they shot. This is an earlier shot because her leg was still healing, so she was sitting down. She was limping, and it had a sort of a story explanation of why she is limping and she's hurt. Yeah. To let her leg heal, and it gets to the point where it goes in. She crawls underneath that press, and then they didn't have another shot of it getting smashed. Thus, just this shot, they had to like I said at the beginning, they had to reshoot it, the foam presses getting mashed in.
Can I just say that she has the worst, like, quote unquote, like, final girl line ever? You're terminated, fucker.
Terminated, motherfucker.
No, not motherfucker. Just you're terminated, fucker.
Fucker?
Wow.
Do I always add the motherfucker?
That went up like a fart in church. Like, that was like the worst line ever. Like, that's so bad. It's so bad.
Oh, I want to get to this because this is funny when I heard it. So everything is ending. The robot is dead. The eye kind of flickers away and, disappears. By the way, the smoke that you see is actually somebody taking a puff of a cigarette
yeah.
and does like, yeah, on the side to make it look like it was smashed and it's now all smoky.
You, but I've had 14 packs today for this shoot.
It's old school, essentially old school VFX. There. Now, if you had to guess, how did they make this shot? By the way, this is a reshoot. This was not in the original edit. How do you think they accomplished this shot? Just a guess. The audience
Probably
can
had
guess.
him just lying on a table. I've never seen any information about it. They probably had him lying on a table, and they had like somebody's jacket or something over his face.
That is correct. James Cameron's jacket.
Yeah. Because it doesn't look like a jacket zipper, not a body bag. Yeah.
They did not have any body bags that could zip up.
Hey, it looks fine though. It looks fine.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm moving the thing a little bit forward. Here we go. This is the original shot that they shot during the original schedule. If you can tell, it's just wrapped up in a like a cellophane garbage bag. It does not look like a body bag at all. It just doesn't look like a body bag. And yeah, you got it straight on.
I had no idea that the LAPD was sponsored by fucking Johnson and Johnson.
Yeah, they did not have.
Well, I'm sorry, sir, but we're going to need a 150-gallon bag for this one.
And this is all because of James Cameron's insistence after they went into the editing table to make sure when she looks at Kyle, he's like getting zipped up in a body bag.
So you can see his face at the very.
So you can see his face, and there's no mistake that the body that they're carrying out for essentially 24 frames. We know that this is Kyle's body and not the Terminator's body.
Yeah.
And they had to shoot that. It's like Michael was like Price said, was laying on a table and they just closed the jacket on top of me. And it just looks great.
So it looks like the same thing. Like, remember, like if you were a kid, if you want to pull up a headless horseman, you just pulled the jacket up high and put it over your head.
Essentially,
and
yes.
Put a little pumpkin on top of your head.
And then we have sort of, I would say, the epilogue for the movie where she is not. You don't hear the inner monologues. You actually hear the outer monologue as she records herself. Same thing that we had in Angel Heart, where it's a noir, but you don't get the inner monologue. You get the outer monologue of Mickey Rourke kind of talking about what happened. And this is essentially it.
Is this the same gas station that was in T2 then?
No, it is not.
Okay.
Because
I was conflating the two when I watched it. When I rewatched it the first time, the second time, like I think it's the same one. But no, I'm glad you correct me.
It is not. It is not the same gas station for when they stopped and she kind of pulled his bullets from his back, and it's not the same one where it's close to Enrique. It's not the same one.
Yeah, where she has the depot essentially. Yeah. Okay.
No, it's a different location. Okay. And this is where the picture comes in as this Mexican kid kind of takes her picture and gives him the
nice hustle kid. So what do you say? Like, well, if you don't give him $5 American, his father will beat him.
Yes.
Good hustle kid.
Yeah.
Thor.
Yeah. It's a nice little touch. Let's just say that to end up. It's to me, it's just shows the humanity of people and what they don't really expect when the bomb hits. Because at this point in the movie, we realize, this is going to happen, right? This is going to happen, but her son is. Like, he is going to finish Skynet.
The one thing I don't, the one thing that really bugs me about this movie, because they kind of covered it in T2, is why didn't they just send Kyle back? Because they're able to actually eventually like utilize the technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the Terminator sent back to kill Sarah Connor, why isn't the person who runs Cyberland at the time? Why don't you send Kyle Reese back then to kill that guy instead? I know that there's causality loops there, but it's more the fact like, why don't you just nip the problem in the bud to begin with, and then it'll never happen?
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that has to do with paradoxes that you can solve. The problem is, if you solve them, you're like, yeah, but if you solve them, there is no movie.
Yeah. I know
Yeah.
that's where you get into the circular logic loop. Yeah, I know.
That's the problem. So this is the original shot as she pulls out of the gas station.
So that's Hamilton there then, right?
That is Hamilton in the Jeep.
Okay.
Essentially, after she'd taken her picture, haggling for the thing, no problem. Wait, sorry. And she drives off. You see her drive off camera. And then into this shot.
I think it's a matte painting. It's a matte painting.
It looks like it looks like a matte painting. It is location shot. This is why they waited for a specific time of day at a specific time of morning, where they waited and waited and waited and waited, and then the cop showed up. Only to have 3 seconds of this. To be honest, it's an amazing shot with the mountains and the time of day and the clouds and everything.
I'll be honest, I thought it was fake. It still doesn't look real.
Absolutely real. Absolutely real. I thought it was fake too. I thought it was a backdrop. I thought it was a, back, how do you call it? Like back screen. Because they used the same technique in the movie itself. They had the back screening and front screening while Kyle Reese and another soldier was hovering between the battlefield, right? I didn't put it on screen, but you know the shot where they're trying to get away from the robots and there's tons of lasers going on, and it's all in the flashback where he talks about when it gets to the picture essentially. But yeah, it's full on shot, and this is why the actual there where it is. I don't know. I couldn't find any reference to where exactly it is. What Gail heard said in the behind the scenes stuff is this was in the middle of nowhere and there were no cars moving by for 3 hours. Then we set up the shot because it was that time of day, and then the cop showed up. All for a second and a half, 2 seconds of the movie.
Oh, Griffin, that's more of a chicken or the egg situation. We could debate that forever.
Yeah. And that is it. And it sets up an entire franchise of movies, not only movies like sequels and all that stuff. With most of them are pretty dog shit. Yes, especially that last one. I managed to watch the last one not long ago. It is, okay, terrible. Story-wise, terrible. Good, looks good, but essentially not good. Not written well, not really acted well. Mackenzie, whatever her name is, no, not good. Yeah. But who jumped in? Price again? Price?
Join lost.
Okay. I don't know what happened, but it is what it is. Price again. No, Salvation is not the last one. Dark Fate is the last one. Where they
Genesis, yeah.
They start with killing a fake version of John Connor.
Yeah.
Yeah. if you want to watch it, that will not spoil the movie. That is literally the start.
Which
of
also,
the movie.
if that's supposed to be on the same timeline too, then John Connor never started the revolution. So why the hell would they be coming back? And it's
like I said, if you want to watch it, go ahead and watch it. Yeah, I think
sense.
It's on my Netflix right now. Yeah, price
it's a bad movie.
Yeah, technical difficulties. Well, to be fair, Price has done more than enough to not miss this show. He's like, I really want to talk about this movie. It's a couple of hours before the show. He's like, yeah, I'm good. Not going to be in my home setup, but I really want to be on. And he's like, I'm going to make an effort. So I really want to thank Price of Reason. In the description down below, he's got 2 different channels. One, his regular channels with regular uploads. The other channel he uses for live streams. He live streams, I think 3 times a week during the week. I don't know if he does weekend stuff. I don't think so. Usually when he's on, I actually do listen. Him and his buddy, the professor. I
still not connected now.
I still not connected. Yeah, he's on in the back, but I can't really pull him up. He's not. The connection is not there. Anyway, go subscribe to his channel if you want. That live show that he does, I really like it. They touch upon pop culture and politics. It's all over the place. It's what interests them at the time. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Price. Maybe his microphone doesn't work. Doesn't show as muted, but I can't really hear him.
Yeah.
But go subscribe.
Kaliki got it. So it's Tuesday, Thursday. So
okay.
So yeah, go check out his channel. He's a great guy. And
he really made an effort to be here. As you can tell, he is trying to get on. And but yeah, go ahead. Please subscribe to him. Go to his Twitter. Follow him there if you got an account and all that good stuff. And you get all the information directly from him. Plus, he's on like different shows, Midnight's Edge After Dark, and all that stuff. You can catch him all over the place. Please do so. For us, for this show, we are done. But before we do, we would like to tell you which movie to watch next week, which is Blade Runner. So goodbye, Price. Go ahead and watch Blade Runner, not 2049. The original Blade Runner, 1982, with Harrison Ford, Sean Young, and directed by Ridley Scott, which I will have quite a few notes about that.
I know you got a lot to talk about there. So.
Quite a few notes about that. Rutger Hauer, Daryl Hannah, all that good stuff. 1982 Blade Runner.
Well,
please.
Paul's got a good question. Original cut, right? Not
which cut?
Original cut.
Original theatrical cut. I don't want to mess. We're trying not to mess with the different director's cut and everything, but I might have some notes on the director's extended cut. Okay, it came in a bit later. It's all mess of a bob. So we're looking at as much as possible on the original theatrical cut without any additive and extras. It's okay, Price. Please. Thank you for joining us today. Really, I really thank you for making an effort. I really appreciated it. I wish you could join us on a more, relaxed time.
Stable.
We'll have you on again.
Yeah.
When you can actually be at your regular setup and all that good stuff, man. Please subscribe. He's using his Price of Reason Live. That's the channel you go and subscribe to for the live shows with the professor. But yeah, guys, go watch Blade Runner, and we'll see you next week. Because remember, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. See you next week. You're still here? It's over. Go home.